This video is the first out of 3 in a trilogy I like to call Are those 3 time signatures together, or are you just happy to see me?
It's not really 3 time signatures.
Hello everyone, and thanks for joining once again. The first song in this trilogy is The Walk by Periphery. This song was released on Periphery's self-titled album, which is one of the best modern prog metal albums out there. Highly recommended. First, I should say, this video is very much based on the guest versus host method I've discussed in this video. So make sure you check it out, because I said so. As you remember, the host is usually the time signature, and the guest would be any added grouping that cycles around the time signature. But what happens when we have more than one group circling around? What happens when we have 2 guests in the house?
Oh god, 2 guests. That sounds like an introverted nightmare.
So, what do we have here? We have 1 host and 2 guests. That means we have a more detailed hierarchy. So we're gonna actually start with the first guest, as it's the first thing that pops out. I'll get to why this is a guest and not the host later. So this is like the heavy guest. It's like that friend who comes in and slowly but surely makes himself too much at home. You know that friend? We all got one. The first 4 bars start off with this figure in 6. This figure looks like this. And it's played by the guitar. By the way, I always prefer to reduce these numbers to smaller numbers, so it's easier to count. So I will refer to this 6 as 3. So instead of 6/16, it's 3/8. The host here is 4/4, but this 4/4 is very weak in the first 4 bars, as it's only played by the hi-hat that hits beat 3 of the 4/4. The other indicator I have that the 4/4 is the time signature is, again, the total amount of beats in this section. In 4 bars of 4/4, we have 32 eighth notes. That means that if I'm right, and these are actually 4 bars of 4/4, we can squeeze in 10 repeats of the 3/8 loop, and we'd have 2 more beats to fill up. Now look at what happens. The 3/8 guitar loop does actually happen 10 times, followed by the first 2 eighth notes of that phrase, which are these.
I can't believe you questioned me. 60% of the time, I'm correct all the time.
So these are actually 4 bars of 4/4, and the hi-hat is the only element supporting the 4/4 side. In the next 4 bars, the 4/4 is even weaker. We have guitars, bass, kick, and snare playing the 3/8 phrase, and no one is playing on the 4/4 side. So the host is only present when counting, and only by the fact that the math from before is still relevant.
Did you notice how the lack of musical elements on the host side makes it so much harder to count?
In the next 4 bars, the balance evens out a bit. The guitars, bass, and kick are still playing this figure in 3/8, but the hi-hat and snare jump to the 4/4 side in a very complementary way. The hi-hat is playing quarter notes, and the snare is emphasizing beat 3. This makes the 4/4 way easier to count out. Okay, now that we have a great foundation, we can introduce guest number 2, Mr. 5/8. Audience, this is 5/8. 5/8, this is the audience. Mr. 5/8 actually looks like this. If these are 5 slots, our 5/8 is played as 2 accents on beat 1 and 2. This 5 is played by some china or crash cymbal and another guitar. If we check the math side, we get this. 32 divided by 5 gives us 6 full repeats of the 5 and a remainder of 2, so 2 more beats to fill up. Luckily enough, out of our 5 group, the first 2 hits are the ones that are played, so we can just keep them. So here's a breakdown of the whole thing. We have 4 repetitions of the riff. Each repetition is 4 bars of 4/4. In the first, second, and third, we have various manipulations of the first guest, which is the loop in 3/8. First time, only the guitar plays it. Second time, guitars and drums play it. Third time, guitar still plays it, but the drums are split. And then we get to the fourth time. In the fourth time, we have our new guest, our 5/8 join, played by an extra guitar and the china cymbal. Good luck to everyone. That is very awesome. So you can say this is a 5/3/4, I guess? I mean, call it whatever you want. I'm gonna just call it freaking awesome. Stay tuned for next week. We'll have yet another song with one too many guests to handle. Thanks for watching.